All right, so this video is going to focus on 4.6, and it's kind of the same as all the other chapters that we've really done. The only difference now is that we're going to still draw our line, and we're going to box our coefficient. Remember, I did recommend rewriting this as like 1 over 5x is less than or equal to negative 3. In order to get x by itself, in this case, we're going to go through and you have to do the reciprocal, multiplicative inverse, which is 5 over 1, and multiply this by 5 over 1. And now I have x is less than or equal to negative 15. Now I didn't flip the sign because my coefficient, what was boxed, was not negative. I only flip the sign if my coefficient is a negative. If I was to graph this out, I have negative 15 as one of my numbers, negative 14 as another number, and negative 16 as a final number. It's going to be a closed circle, and it says x is less than, so it goes to the left. For this one here, I'm going to rewrite it. So I'll have 6x is greater than negative 18. Again, this is 6 over 1. I box the coefficient, do the reciprocal, 1 over 6. Notice that the thing that I boxed is positive, so the sign stays the same. I multiply this by 1 over 6, and I have x is greater than negative 18 times 1 is negative 18 over 6. I can rewrite that, of course, as x is greater than negative 3. So then I draw my line, negative 3, negative 2, negative 4. And it's an open circle because there's no line underneath. And since x is greater than that, it's got to go to the right. This is where it starts changing a little bit. So hopefully when you see this one, you notice a difference. I have negative 3/2 n is less than or equal to 6. So I'm going to box this. And when I box it, the thing that I box is a negative. So right away, you should know that the sign will flip. So I'm going to multiply this by negative 2 over 3. Multiply this by negative 2 over 3. And I want to just make sure you understand something. So when I first started this problem, you notice how the left side of this was a negative and the right side was a positive. But whenever I do this now, the left side is now a positive and the right side is now a negative. So that I have negative 12/3, which is negative 4. That's why the sign flips. Because you changed, at first, again, this was a negative side and this is positive. Well, now this is a positive, this is a negative. So that's why whenever you have a negative coefficient, we flip the sign. So negative 4, negative 3, and negative 5. And it's a closed circle, and it's n is greater than or equal to negative 4, so it's going to go to the right. For the next one here, if I look at it, again, the coefficient is negative, so I'm going to have 1 over 3 negative, and then x is greater than negative 4. Right now they're both negative, right? But when I box the coefficient and multiply by the reciprocal, I'm going to multiply by negative 3 over 1, multiply this by negative 3 over 1. Now look at them. It'll be x, this is going to be a positive 12, and I have to flip the sign, because whenever I divide or multiply by a negative sign, which I'm doing, I have to flip the sign. So I have x is less than 12. So I'm not sure what I was doing there. So I'll put down 12 and I'll do 11 and 13. And it's an open circle and it's less than, so it goes this way. For this one here, it's a negative coefficient on the other side. That's why they're doing this. So 0.5 is less than or equal to 1 over 2 y. I'm going to box the coefficient just like I've been doing every other time. And I'm going to multiply by negative 2 over 1. And since you're multiplying by a negative, the sign will flip. So it's going to go like this, boom. This is y is less than or equal to, and this is negative 10. I'm sorry, negative 1, because negative 2 times 0.5 is negative 1. So I'll have negative 1, 0, and negative 2. It's a closed circle, and since y is less than, it's going to go this way, right? Because I'm reading it from the variable. So y is less than or equal to negative 1. Just a couple more to do here. This one, if I look at it, I'm going to draw my line, box my coefficient. Notice that my coefficient is positive, so I don't flip the sign. I only flip the sign if my coefficient is a negative. So you might want to make a note to yourself just so you remember that. And this would be m is less than or equal to, this would be negative 60 divided by 6 is negative 10. And I'll put down a line, -10, -9, -11. It's a closed circle, and its m is less than -10, so it's gotta go to the left. Please, if you have any questions as you're going through this and you don't understand something, make sure you ask in class. I'm happy to help you. This one here, draw a line, box this. Hopefully you realize right away that's a negative coefficient. So that means the sign's gonna flip, right? So -5/2, -5/2. So I'm gonna flip the sign to start with. This is just h, and this becomes 40 divided by 2 is 20. So put 20, 21, and 19. And it's a closed circle. And because h is greater than, it goes to the right. And I think that was all the problems I have for you. Big takeaway, remember to, well, I guess two major things. Number one, if you just have like a variable over a number, make sure you rewrite it as like 1/2 y. And then whenever you are dividing or multiplying by a negative coefficient, make sure that you flip the sign. All right. So hopefully that makes sense to you.